Good afternoon and welcome to You and Your Business with me, Alec on 103.2 Dublin City FM. Each week, I invite an expert from the world of business to share their knowledge, insights and tips to help you with your business challenges. If you feel that you would like to contribute to the show, please email me at yourbusiness@dublincityfm.ie and perhaps we'll be chatting here one day soon. My guest today is the Managing Director of the All Ireland Business Foundation. He sits on the advisory board of a number of Irish companies, and he's also a struggling writer and chef. I'm delighted to welcome Kapil Khanna to the You and Your Business studio. Hiya, Kapil.
Thank you, Alec, and it's my great pleasure to be here with you.
It's a pleasure to have you. Fantastic. Well, as you know, I'm going to take you through that torturous route of talking about your early days in school. We're going to talk about, it's that year you're leaving school. Tell me more about it.
What's sure. So listen, just from the listener's point of view, I'm originally from New Delhi, India, and fate brought me to Ireland in 2009. I followed my heart here, and now I'm raising my young family and making a positive impact in the 100 of Irish businesses. So going back to my previous life back home, I graduated in commerce, and after graduation, I got into pharmaceuticals sales initially, and I went through my career from the representative to the area manager to the marketing team. And my last assignment in pharmaceutical was with AstraZeneca, and we all know AstraZeneca, who they are now.
We certainly do. But a quick question for you, just before I let you go on. Just in terms of school, were you an academic, or were you a person traveling, or did you discover a new life?
I was very academic. I wasn't into sports at all. And all I used to do is read and play. That's it. So I was very average, by the way, in my academics. So that's why I didn't get admission into a medical college, because I always wanted to be a doctor. But anyway, I compromised, and maybe that's the best thing happened to me if I look back.
That's something you and I have in common. I wanted to be a doctor as well. Unfortunately, I was just too lazy, but I still have the bad handwriting.
We share that as well. I have the baddest handwriting ever you would have seen. Even sometimes I can't read my own handwriting.
There we go. We have things in common. So anyway, AstraZeneca, and you started moving up the chain there. Most of us wouldn't have heard of AstraZeneca until quite recently. So what sort of work were you doing there?
So primarily my job was in the marketing, business development, key account management, launching the products and managing the product portfolio there. So anyway, I worked through in the pharmaceutical, and then I realized that, in order to grow further in my life, I needed to grow myself. So I took a sabbatical and I enrolled myself into a full-time MBA program. So I did my MBA in strategy and finance, full-time executive MBA. And from there, I was placed, we got a campus placement. So I was placed into one of the largest private equity and mutual fund company based in India. Wow. So from pharmaceutical I transitioned into the financial services, where I was managing the institutional investor, distribution, the commercial strategy for that company. So I had a very successful stint in both pharma and financial services.
Well,
really enjoyed
it. Yeah. Tell us about the financial side of it. What attracted you into that?
It wasn't it just happened accidentally. So the company they came to campus to recruit for their management program, and I sat in the interview. They liked my profile. I liked the job offer. They gave it to me. I couldn't say no. So it was quite a win-win. And plus, because I spent my time already in pharmaceutical, I thought it'll be good to change the industry and get a new experience. So that's how it came into existence at the start. So anyway, from 2009, between all of that, I was seeing my wife. So we got married. My wife was already here in Ireland since 2006. So we had a long distance relationship. We got married in 2008. I was trying to convince her to come back home and to start family. Because I had a very good job, very well settled back home. But who actually, who wins at the end. So I couldn't convince her. So finally, I had to leave my job in 2009
and had to follow your heart.
Absolutely, follow my heart here.
So tell me this, just more about that. In terms of what were your perceptions of Ireland? I mean, now that you were going to follow your heart to Ireland, This was obviously going to be a complete new cultural interaction for you.
Sure. You know what, actually, I actually didn't even know much about Ireland before I moved here. I had a very little knowledge, and I actually didn't do any research before I moved here. I just blindly came here. I was just confident that because I had a good, good qualifications, good professional experience, I thought wherever I'll go, I'll probably I'll restart my career and rebuild my career. So I didn't know much about it. I didn't come here with any preconceived notions or biases. And probably that's what one of the best thing happened to me, because I didn't know it was a small island and how the business was run. So I came with a completely fresh, open mind here, and you can imagine 2009 was it was a period of depression, economic recession. People weren't really open to new ideas. So anyway, I had all those initial struggles. I got rejected for over 40 times in the interviews.
No, that's a baptism of fire, all right. But I suppose if you picked 2009, you couldn't have picked a worse year, certainly in the last 20 years to come here.
Absolutely. And maybe that's one of the best thing happened to me, because I came at the bottom of, or you can say at the recessionary time. So I really enjoyed my journey from 2009 to here, because I've seen the progression, in my professional career, and also learned a lot in the marketplace as well, while working with a lot of companies in Ireland as well. So that was my start. That's how I started my my personal life in Ireland. Now, how did I start my career back in Ireland again? I wasn't able to engage in a job that time, because you can imagine a non-European coming to Ireland with no Irish experience. So anyway, at that time I was finally able to convince a management consulting startup to give me the opportunity. So they gave me the internship, right, which I said yes to. And so I was traveling from Dublin to Galway for 6 months to do my assignments and giving them the back-end support to some of the projects they were doing. Sure. Long story short, they liked my profile and they hired me as a management consultant to work with their team. So that was the start of my professional career in Ireland. And from there on, I started working from butchers to pharmacies to bigger companies in hospitality, and helping them on sales, marketing, strategy.
Well, tell me a bit more about that, because I mean, I have to go back to a couple of things that's happened in your career. Like, for example, with something like AstraZeneca back in India, obviously a different culture, a large organization. Did you have any mentors, any people there that sort of made an impact on your life?
Absolutely. I would give a huge credit to all my immediate managers, regional managers, the people I was reporting to. They had a huge impact to who I am, and they encouraged me to grow professionally and personally as well. So I would give a huge credit to all my ex-bosses, and my colleagues I worked with. A lot of people, who reported to me as well. So I am who I am because of all those experiences, connecting all the dots backward from there. But you're right, it was a huge shift in the working, because in India, I always used to, I always worked with the big Fortune 500 companies, and coming to Ireland, working with these small Irish medium, but very passionate and progressive companies. It's a different side of the world, where when you work for a big corporate, you work in a box. It's a very boxy, which means that you have to operate within the norms, and it's more of execution side, where here I was able to be myself, and and to share my perspective of working in a different world, and my commercial acumen, and really make a difference, because you can actually strategize and also implement for them as well. So very different experience. But really, I must say, I really enjoyed working with the small, medium enterprises, because I really love the passion for what they do, and the customer centricity, and the trust, and the love they have for what they do.
Yes, and if you're just joining us now, my guest today is Kapil Khanna, who's Managing Director of the All Ireland Business Foundation. And we were just talking about Kapil's amazing journey from working with sort of large corporates in India to finding love in Ireland. And and then also engaging with the SME community in Ireland, which would have been a totally different experience. And of course, Kapil picked 2009 as the time to come to Ireland, which we all know was possibly not the best year, but you've been making the best of it. So tell us more about that sort of interaction with the SME community.
Sure. I think typically, see, being an entrepreneur is not an easy life for, it's not an easy career option to pick as well, because you are wearing multiple hats. You are an accountant in the morning, and a bookkeeper, and a salesperson, and the marketing, and the branding, from the HR and the people management issue. And I feel it's just not fair to being a superhero. You can't manage all of that. So I think in order to grow, one of the fastest and the smartest way to grow is to grow your people, or to be surrounded with the people who can do things better than what you are, so that you can be in your best zone, or
Yep.
do the things that matter most to you, or only you can do better. That may be the sales, or being the face of the business. So really, in my initial career here in Ireland, I really stepped in as a sounding board, or the advisor, working with the CEO and the managing directors, to help them to conceptualize, to formulate this strategy, and help them, giving them direction and guidance, how they can achieve the commercials and the business objective, and also, aligning with their personal life as well.
So, and how did you find that people are so different, and sort of aligning strategies? Business SMEs sometimes are like a herd of cats trying to get them together. It must have been presented many challenges, because they all have different needs.
Absolutely, because see, one of the biggest challenge is an ability to let things go. Because
tell us more about that. Yeah,
absolutely. Because see, when you are a business owner, you're so close to your business, because you're so passionate about it, and this is your baby. But remember, your business will never grow if you're stuck in the weeds. So in order to grow the business, you have to detach yourself and really see as a business, not as a personal thing. So yeah, it's a two different side of the coin. And that's very different. That's very difficult for a lot of business owner, is to really let things go, and really trusting somebody to delegate things so that they can do it. So there are a lot of challenges, and they're a fundamental universal challenge that everybody has. But I think that once you have that realization that, so imagine, what would happen if you hit by bus or by tree, and you're not able to work in the business for next 3-6 months. Will it sustain? Will it survive? So I think these kind of realization and acceptance that somebody will eventually replace you in your business. Why not do it now?
I think that's a very valuable lesson for all of our listeners out there, that this ability to let go. And I think that's the transition from being an SME with a small mind to an SME with a bigger mind.
Absolutely. And I always tell even the current companies I mentor in the Business All Stars program is you need to transition from a business owner to entrepreneur to a chief executive, because when you are a business owner, you are most of the time goes into firefighting, that you need to think about fire prevention. You need to think about setting systems in the business, because system will set you free and allow you to grow to the level, to the best possible way. And when you think like a CEO instead of a business owner, you're going to take some medium to long-term decision and action now, which will set you free and allow you to grow faster than you ever imagined.
And I think that's a mindset, and it's a very difficult one, I think, for many business owners to comprehend.
True, but I think that's important, and that's what really I encourage people to think about. See, Alec, sometimes it's also about realizing and be very ruthless, brutally honest with ourselves, for a business owner to really think about what kind of a business I'm actually building. Am I building a lifestyle business or scalable business? How much I want to work in the business, and I think a realization, and if somebody is building a lifestyle business and they're very happy with whatever they're making, or maybe that's 50, 100, 250 or 500K, and then they work backward from there. But if somebody building a scalable business, they have to take some decision and action which align to their business objective, which means if you're building a scalable business, you cannot build business around you. You have to build business with the people and the scalable systems. So that kind of realization is important. And once you have that realization, you take action based on that.
Sure. And I think also the importance of bringing in the right people with the right knowledge into the business to support you.
Absolutely. You can only go to a limit alone, in order to go faster and stronger and to further, you need a support, you need your tribe, you need your mentors, advisors, and the managers who can execute things for you.
Yes. And what other advice would you give to business owners? I mean, there's a couple of steps they need to make. The ability to let go is one of them. What else would you see as being
Listen,
a key component?
I have learned a lot of lessons. See, I'm very blessed, Alec. I worked with over 400 companies in Ireland so far, right? And looked at their business model and looked at the what works, what doesn't work. There are a couple of generic one I can share with you because, which will apply to a lot of business owner. I think that as a business owner, we need to differentiate that busyness is not equal to productivity.
Yes.
And and sometimes it's being super busy is not a badge of honor. It's actually perfectly okay and healthier to not to be so busy, which means that focusing on less things but doing better. Less is more. You don't need to have 100 clients to have a good business. You may actually choose to have a really good client, who
Yes.
profitable client to be a more healthier business and healthier lifestyle. That's the first lesson. The busyness is not equal to productivity. And the second thing is, as a business owner, it's about being fearless about figuring the answers out and take help from the other people. And one of the things for business owners is also a lot of thinking really hurts in business, Alec, which means that, and that's why people like binge watching Netflix. An average person, they unlock their phone for about 103 times a day, because it's just whenever you don't have anything, we just, unlock the phone and start scrolling. I really encourage every business owner to time block a thinking time for yourself on a weekly basis. It could be only 1 hour, 2 hour. Have a meeting with yourself if you don't have a business mentor. So really allocate that time and make friends with your numbers. Because remember, at the end of the day, you need to know what's the one thing, two thing, three thing which can move needle in your business. Because it's often one or two things, if you're done right, can have a huge impact in your business, rather than doing 10 things, which may have only marginal impact. And you can be very busy 80% of time, doing those 10 things rather than, so less but better is more will be my guidance and, experience working with so many businesses.
And you're right, though. I mean, I have to wholeheartedly agree with you there. So many business owners are caught up in the day-to-day trivia, which should be delegated.
Absolutely. And listen, it's and somebody asked me a question of the day, Alec, Kapil, that I really find is very struggling to delegate, because how do I trust? Or he said, how do you trust? I said, I micromanage until I trust. And once I trust, I don't micromanage. And while I'm micromanaging, I document everything that I would like, I would like to address this or do this. And so there is a SOPs and there's a playbook for everything you do in a business. Because see, at the end of the day, the lessons we can learn from McDonald's or any of the successful business, they run business by the playbook, which means that a school dropout knows exactly how to make a fantastic burger similar to New York quality.
And if you're just joining us today, my guest is Kapil Khanna, who is Managing Director of the All Ireland Business Foundation. And we were talking about just a very important part of a business and business strategy is what you called a playbook, but really we're talking about processes. This is that it's sort of your business in a box that anybody could open it, read it, and knows how to run it.
Brilliant. Absolutely.
And how important that is if you want to grow your business, to focus on that. Tell us more. You've obviously done this for yourself. So maybe have you any tips and hints for our listeners around that?
Sure. Listen, one of the mindset I encourage a lot of Irish businesses to have is to build to sell, right? Build to sell. And I'm not saying that you need to sell your business, but what I'm saying here is when you build, manage, and run your business with the intention that you will exit at some stage, you will take some decisions and you will make some system, process, align people, and detach yourself from as much as possible so that your business can run like a machine or as an independent identity. So even if you don't intend to sell or pass on to somebody's family, having that mindset of building to sell can really save a lot of hassles and give you the greater exit when you decide to do so. So likewise, this, which means that, there are three legs of in a business, any business, which is how do you, your product, your solution that you offer in a marketplace, which is leg number one, what you offer, what you sell, and the pain point that you sell, you solve for your client. And the second leg is how you deliver your promise from the leg number one, which is how you deliver. For example, if you're on e-commerce, how do you fulfill?
Sure.
And the third leg is all your operations, your numbers, your grinding, all that happening. So you need to manage all the three legs in isolation and in conjunction to see which leg is shorter than other leg. Sometimes, and sometimes your lead generation and the marketing or the new business development is shorter than the other leg, which means your stool will be very wobbly. So you need to think of these three legs separately and see what's missing and fill those gaps in the system. So yeah, so in terms of my current work in the All Island Business Foundation, I am the managing director and the co-founder. We're very passionate about enterprise development, identifying, recognizing, and supporting the companies we have in the Business All-Star program. The Business All-Star program is our national recognition program where we identify and recognize best-in-class Irish companies who take great pride in their product and service. So they are identified with the All-Star insignia as a symbol of trust and the customer centricity in the marketplace. We have over 500 companies who proudly display the badge of honor as being an all-star in the marketplace. And then from the foundation point of view, we're supporting them, nurturing them. Our collaboration and peer knowledge are the two pillars in the foundation. And we add a lot of value to these clients, enabling them to collaborate and learn from each other.
Tell me how you got involved in that, because it became a collaboration and you met somebody in the course of your business life who is now part of that with you.
So yeah, so the after working for a management consulting company, I joined an advertising platform company where I was, heading their Asia Pac business from Dublin, and then from there I met our CEO Elaine Carroll and my business partner, and we both came from international background, international mindset, and the growth mindset, I would say. And we thought, why not create a platform to connect the businesses from all 32 counties? So that was the first stepping stone towards this. And when we set up the All Island Business Summit,
I've attended those very good events. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that was the all initial one single idea of creating a platform to bring the progressive companies from all the 32 counties. So we started with a very humble beginning of 100 delegates in the very first summit, and we had our last summit, which we did in the 2019. We had 800 plus delegates that joined.
Wow.
So in doing this all these 5 years running the summit, sometime when you don't realize, but that was your true calling. We both realized that we're very passionate about connecting, recognizing, peer learning, collaboration. So under the guidance of the Global Institute and University of Limerick, Dr. Briga Hines, we officially launched the All Ireland Business Foundation in 2018. That was the start of officiating everything that we do at the Business Foundation.
I suppose in the last 2.5 minutes we've got left of this interview, COVID's been a major challenge. How do you see you going forward and your organization going forward, and challenges and how well prepared you are to meet them?
There are a few things that we can control. looking at the marketplace and the few things we cannot control. So what my perspective and what our AIBF perspective is, we're going to control, manage, and grow the things that we can control, which are primarily serving our business also tribe, giving them the support, giving them the knowledge, and giving them the courage and resilience and the support they need to navigate through this tough time. That's what we're going to do. Continue doing it, continue supporting our tribe, continue building our tribe as well, is to enrolling the new companies into the Business All-Star program as well. So these two things we're going to do very well for the next while until we are fully safe to be back at the physical events. So the focus is primarily on the enterprise development, entrepreneurs development, leadership development for the next 6 to 9 months from the foundation level point of view.
And have you any business summit planned for the future, or are we still waiting?
Just today we canceled our Christmas lunch, where we had over 150 people confirmed for December 10th. We already have the summit is scheduled for the next year, March. I'm not sure what's going to happen. We just have to see the government guidelines and how the market evolves for the next 3 months. But we can't wait to get back to the physical events and giving the platform for companies to come at a live event. Until then, we will be hosting our monthly leadership masterclasses and monthly entrepreneurs meetup to allow companies to network and learn from each other.
And if people want to get in touch with you, Kapil, where can they do that?
Absolutely. I am very active on LinkedIn. I write, as Alec said, I am a struggling writer. I have intention to compress and compile all the experience and perspective I gained in Ireland into a book. So I am a struggling writer. So please connect with me on LinkedIn, or my email is kapil@aibf.ie. And if you want to check out our work, it's www.aibf.ie, All Ireland Business Foundation.
Listen, thanks a million, Kapil. What a fantastic interview. I'm sure our guests would be fascinated to go back and listen to that. Thanks for coming into the You and Your Business studio. Thanks also to Sam on Sound. The podcast for today's show will be available on dublincityfm.ie from tomorrow. Thank you for your company. And please remember to join me, Alec Drew, again next week at the same time, right here on 103.2 Dublin City FM for another edition of You and Your Business.
Thank you, Alec.
Now that's it. I can stop the recording and we'll edit it from there. There we go.